Rugby League. Ah.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport. Dan, missed you last week, buddy.
Thank you, mate. You too, actually. It's been a long 2 weeks.
Yeah, the off-season's a real killer, but
I hate it.
Rugby League is the gift that keeps on giving. We've had some test matches which we will cover, but let's get into the news. Josh Curran has signed a 2-year deal, I believe, with the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am not shocked, considering the obvious need for a roster recharge that the Bulldogs have embarked on. I'm a little bit concerned for them though, Terry, because all the signings are in the forwards. When screaming out that, well, they don't have a halfback.
Yeah, they don't have a halfback. Now, I have seen some people come out and say that they think that Blake Taff is actually going to be the fullback and that Stephen Crichton will partner Bronson Xerri in the centres. Now, I like that move.
Yeah, me too.
I think Blake Taff is serviceable.
He's more a game-managing player too.
Yeah.
Creative.
I don't mind that. What is really noticeable, though, is they've paid big money to players that I don't think are going to break the game open for them. Like Viliame Kikau, for example. He's a fantastic player when he is spoon-fed an opportunity close to the try line by an elite half.
Yeah, fair.
Stephen Crichton is one of, if not the best centre in the game. I personally believe he's the best centre in the game at the moment.
Yeah.
But he isn't a Joey Manu type of centre who can pick the ball up and just create something out of nothing. Stephen Crichton is another one who needs good service.
That's true.
Who's going to give that from the Bulldogs?
Well, it won't be Curran.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is a good signing because I like Josh Curran. I was a little bit shocked that the Warriors were letting him go, but given they've got other positions they need to sort of put forward,
And that word there, forward, I think the Warriors are really loaded in the forwards at the moment.
100%. They got him coming out the yin yang. Their New South Wales Cup team's stacked. Their juniors are stacked. It's not a problem. I just... congrats to the Bulldogs for getting a signature. That I would have been happy if he signed for Cronulla, full disclosure. I think they're loading up on the same position. Now, people have come out and said, Luke Thompson was at 800k and Pangai Jr. was 800k. Like, that's a good thing. If you're paying either of those two players even a fraction of that...
Well, Luke Thompson, when he first came out to Australia, don't forget he was on his first contract still.
Yeah, but 800k.
Yeah, but...
for a prop forward, I don't care if his name's not Payne Haas or Tino or Fanil Blake this year.
He's standing in the game when they signed him, though, in the Super League. He was the best forward in the Super League. He just had a tremendous test series, and he was killing it over in the Super League. They had to take a punt on him, and it's the same with Sam Burgess, right? Sam Burgess was the best English forward at the time, and to get those players to come out to Australia, you've got to pay them. So I understand where they were coming from when they had to pay that
I'll
contract.
give you that because I actually liked Thompson early on, and that was another one.
He was very good. He was very good.
To sign for Cronulla, and he tore us up a couple of times, but 800k.
They didn't get value out of him. They didn't get value out of him.
And Pangai Jr. played like a bloke who, I know he played Origin. Let's forget that. That's Freddie Fittler asterisk there. He was a bloke who played like he was on 250k tops. Now, for them to celebrate, we got rid of 1.6 million is great because they were both not worth the money, let's put it that way. And then they bring in Curran on big money and Kikau's on huge money. Crichton's on big money.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The 1.6 million, they don't have $1.6 million to play with. A big chunk of that would have been taken up from Stephen Crichton.
Yeah, and look, they've upgraded some superstar. Like their outside backs, there's a few good players there that they've had to upgrade. So,
Bronson Xerri wasn't free.
No, and people go, he's this and that.
Blake Taff wasn't free.
There's 4 or 5 that they haven't officially announced yet too. That are...
Kurt Mann's training with them.
So, look, whatever. I'm not going to get into a salary cap thing. That was purely a piss take on my behalf. I fully admit that. Good signing, but they're talking about this is what we need to go to the next level. It's not. We saw this exact same thing 2 years ago. We saw it last year. Gus Gould is playing championship manager. He's signing everyone he can. Unless they land Jerome Luai on November 2nd, we're going to be sitting here this time next year saying the same thing again.
Now, what is disappointing for the Bulldogs while we stick with them is Carlo Luapu. looks like he's going to miss the entire season with a neck injury. Now, I haven't read too much into it, and there was hopes that he might be able to play, but the minute they're talking about having surgery on the neck, I don't think he can.
No, this is a real bugger. And if this is a thing that's a 8-month recovery, give him 12. This is a kid with a humongous future.
Yeah.
And we like to make fun, but this sucks.
Yeah.
Especially a young kid who just was playing a bit of first grade, just starting to find his footing. A big off season, he was right in the wrecking, probably their number 7 moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
For him to be injured, I mean, well, it's going to sound bad.
Actually, I don't know if he was going to be the number 7 because they've still got Toby Sexton.
Oh, look, they do, but I mean, he's going to be in the running.
Yeah.
But this might sound bad, but I'm glad it happened now because he can go away for 12 months and then kickstart next year. And I don't know, it's never good to lose 12 months, but it's not like he's 30 and doing that. So, it sucks. We wish him all the best, obviously. He's going to be a freak. Yeah. They've paid $500K to bring him down, from the Bulldogs, I believe. So there's obviously...
From the Broncos.
Broncos, rather. So there's obviously plenty there, talent-wise. So I hope it goes well. I hope he's back on the pitch as soon as possible. But ultimately, his health has to come first. And a neck injury, you can't mess around with.
You can't mess around with it. It's not... and it was the same as Cade Dykes last year when he tore his ACL. You're like... Well, it sucks, but I'm glad it's happened now and not in round 7 when he was absolutely tearing it up. Gives him the opportunity to rehab, come back. And, if Oluwapu takes his rehab seriously and he goes or puts some more muscle on and he, learns about the diet, he gets to train with all, in the rehab, but see how all the guys manage themselves injury-wise. It'll be a good learning curve for him. Now, obviously, it sucks that he's injured, but you got to take the silver lining, right? And he is going to experience a different kind of off-season and a different kind of season. And we're going to see just how bad the kid wants to come back, really. Now, we don't know whether it's going to be a significant neck injury that's going to see him miss 3 or 4 seasons or be like Tamari Martin where they, rule him out for a long period of time, or whether it can be, a surgery and a good rehabilitation.
Yeah, we never see it again. Yeah. It's but obviously the main thing is we hope he gets better because I think the Bulldogs he's gonna be a good player for them.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna be a very, very good player. Speaking of good players,
real good players.
Homali Oluwapu has been offered a 7-year, $7 million deal from Manly. I don't like it.
Me neither.
No.
This Manly are a top-heavy team. Mm-hmm. They have 3 players and the rest, with the greatest respects. And, they got Ruben Garrick and obviously Kula looks so good, blah, blah, blah. But they got the Turbo, they got the Gerbo, and they got DCE. None of which are 23 anymore. And to put $1 million a season in Oluwapu is, okay, you do what you do, because if he leaves, they're going to blow up. But we've never seen a long-term contract outside of Cherry Evans work. Mm-hmm. What you're paying $1 million for now, the game could change 5 times in the next 7 years, and you're paying a relative dud. $1 million a season.
But, the Cherry Evans deal as well, why we say it was great, and, he's been a good individual player.
Yeah.
They haven't even been close to winning a premiership.
No, I didn't.
Not once.
That's a fair call.
They haven't made a prelim in his contract.
Yeah, you're right.
They have not made a prelim in his contract.
Yeah, that's ultimately you can't have a megastar and finish 12.
Yeah, now Jason Taumalolo re-signed in 2017, but his brand new contract started in 2018. They have made a prelim.
Yeah, they haven't.
They have made a prelim. That was 2022.
He's a good one to use because his impact, he was making 300 metres.
Yeah.
Now he's playing 50 minutes tops, 120, 130. Games change.
Difference from being a middle to an edge forward, though. I don't like paying that kind of money to an edge forward. The other thing as well is, if you can lock him in for $1 million a year, don't go and make it 7 years because it's too long. 3 years, and then just at the end of the 3 years, everyone comes together and turns around. Okay, you're an Origin. Are you an Origin player? Yes, no. Have you carried us to the next level? Are we playing consistent finals footy? Are you a part of that? Do you need to go and test your value on the market? Is $1 million the same price? Do you need a little bit more? Do you need a little bit less? Because the worst thing that could happen for a young kid like him, if he continues the trajectory that he is, and he, two seasons time, another club comes and goes, "Oh, it's a shame that you signed for that money because we got an extra $400,000 here for you." You start getting a little bit complacent.
Yeah.
Drops his value.
If they re-sign him, congratulations. Yeah. That's a monster re-signing, but $1 million a year, and this is another team that they've just. How much did they spend on Luke Brooks too? These top-heavy teams, it hasn't worked.
Just quietly, I think Luke Brooks is going to be a fantastic signing for them.
I hope so. I really
I
do.
think, and I really hope that they finish 8th and he gets his first final.
Yeah, that would be good, and then
That
we
would-
can laugh at the Tigers. I don't think we mentioned last time, but Colin Matangi re-signed
Very good.
for South Sydney. That is humongous.
That is
That
good.
was the one. He's played Origin. Olakwatu hasn't.
Yeah.
Now, I think both will play this year because we've got an actual coach. Fingers crossed for the Blues.
Do you though?
I hope so, Terry. It's the hope that kills you, but I really hope so. Congrats to South, because that is one that November 1st was going to... Every club in the world is
They've
gonna-
also just signed Sean Kepi as well.
Yeah, I like that.
It's not a bad sign. And you know what? When a player leaves your club, if he gets the "it's a shame he's left," wish you all the best. Really wish we had kept him kind of sentiment that you get. You know that it's a decent player, because when you had a look at all the comments from the Manly fans under it, they were saying, you know, obviously he's gone for another opportunity to play some finals, try and win a premiership, but wish he had stayed, wish him all the best, blah, blah, blah. Not like us with Chad Townsend, it was like, wish you'd left 3 years ago. Yeah. So, yeah, no, well done, South Sydney, on retaining and signing a very, very handy
Star
piece.
player.
Yeah.
Again, they're getting a bit top-heavy, though, but watch your space.
Yeah. Now, Jerome Luai, he is going to be the main talking point November 1.
Oh, that's all we'll be talking about for the next few days.
So we've got 3 days until the transfer market opens for
The
players
Vultures.
to be able to sign for 2025. I am very surprised that Jerome Luai has let it get to this. I honestly thought that the minute Penrith offered the 2-year, $1.7 million deal, I still think that he's got that contract in his hand and he's got the pen in his hand, but he'll have his earphones in listening to offers.
Absolutely.
And I think it's going to take a monster offer. Now, there are rumours circulating that there are a couple of clubs that have publicly stated that they're interested, and there's a couple of clubs privately monitoring the situation as well, that are prepared to go up to $1.1 million for Jerome Luai. That is the kind of value that I think he's searching for to leave. I think that's what he's worth. But again, I hope a club doesn't come and make it a 7-year deal. I think you're going to make it a 3-year deal and hope that you have a halfback that can produce. Now, if he goes to the Bulldogs to partner Matt Burton, it's the worst move he could ever make, because none of them are halfbacks. None of them can control the game.
I have several thoughts on this.
Go.
Firstly, if I'm Jerome Luai, I'm taking that Panthers contract and I'm signing it today. Everyone on Twitter, or X as they now call it, was saying, oh, he's got to think of his family. He's got to do this. He's got to maximise his potential. As if 750k is chump change.
850.
850k.
1.7 million over 2 years.
Chump change. Yeah. Okay, seriously. He'll make what, another 150 playing for New South Wales, because while he and Cleary are together, they're going to keep getting picks. No matter who's in form, the club combo is always going to overtake what else you got to throw together. I'm not going out there and I'm saying, okay, whoever's offers me the most gets me, because the Dragons could probably offer him 1.5 tomorrow and get him November 1st. Might as well just say, okay, I've won my 3 premierships and now I'm cashing in. He's what, 23, 24?
No, he's a bit older than that.
Whatever it is, he's still way too young to be playing that sort of game. Now, I think he's holding out for a Roosters, because Luke Keary, is he the man?
But who's the halfback for him again, though?
Well, it'll be Walker. But you go to the Roosters on 1.2, then I'm thinking, yeah, okay, then you're looking at it. Now you've got South Sydney, who pretty much given up on Lachlan Ilias. Now they have signed
Jack Whiten. But again, you can't get in there to go and play the number 7.
No, but they always find money. And I think Cody Walker can shift to 7. I think that's what he's waiting for. Can you imagine if the Warriors come in and say, wait, with that side...
Jerome Luai,
You start looking across. I think he's waiting for the perfect offer of both.
But Sean Johnson won't be around forever. That's the thing. He's got to look at the halfbacks that are going to be there for, like, you get that offer from the Dragons, all right? And you could turn around and go, you know what? I could go down there and I could build something with the Dragons, and maybe in 3 years. Ben Hunt's not going to be there. No. So you could rule them out. The minute the West Tigers came up on your phone, you'd answer it and you go, hello, is this the Tigers? Hang up, block it.
Done, correct.
You'd be looking at the halfback.
Harsh but fair, Terry.
You'd be looking at the halfback that you could build a combination with. Now, the Dolphins, because he played with Sean O'Sullivan. There's a combination for him there. Throw in the Sharks if we have any money, because Nico Hines and him could be a fantastic combination.
Yeah.
But he's got to stay. He's got to stay at Penrith. If Manly hadn't signed Luke Brooks, I'd be saying, mate, go. If you're going to leave, go to Manly. He's got to stay at Penrith.
I am completely convinced that he's not going to sign a ridiculous money deal at a team that is, let's face it, terrible.
Terrible. Yeah.
I think he's waiting for a big offer from a contender who just needs that one player. Now, the Dolphins are quietly building that, just quietly adding Flegler and Herbie Farnworth. O'Sullivan's a freak. Jeremy Marshall-King is a freak. And the Hammer's a freak.
And they've also got...
Zarko.
Yeah, Alamodi. Not Alamodi, Avarillo.
Yeah, you got there's something special building. I can definitely see that. Can you imagine if, obviously it's not going to happen, but someone in the Broncos position, obviously they've found Ezra Memsah, that's not going to happen, silly to mention. But a team that's just one player below winning the comp, he would jump at that. That's where I think your Cronulla, your Roosters, maybe your Dolphins, I think we're looking a little bit forward there. But I cannot see him leaving that system, that setup where he's lauded as a god, let's face it, to play terribly. And this is a guy who's never been tested outside of the Penrith system either.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I think you're seeing the really, really good players at Penrith are sacrificing that little bit of money to stay there, whereas someone like Spencer Linu, who is, he's a prop and a very, very good prop, but he's like, you know what, I can go and be a very good prop wherever I go. Can Jerome Luai go and be a good 5'8" without Nathan Cleary? I don't know. Will we know? I hope so.
Yeah, look, I hope for the... I hope 100% that he signs somewhere because I want to see what he can do outside. I want to see what Penrith can do without him. Mm-hmm. They'll bring someone else up and be absolutely fine.
Yeah, they've got heaps of...
this is a fun one, but on November 10th, I reckon he'll be re-signed at Penrith. And it'll be what it is.
Could him and Hastings be a good combo? The Ponga. Phoenix Crossland?
Maybe. They got like 15 halfbacks up there.
They do, but none of them are good.
No,
but Tyson Gamble's all right. He's one of my favourite players. Bring him off the bench. No, Newcastle. You reckon Roosters? Canberra? Canberra interested? No, I wouldn't go to Canberra.
No, not for $2 million.
I wouldn't go to Canberra for 2 nights and let $2 million. Now, Dan, our...
Great mate, PVL.
Yeah, well, it's not just PVL as well. Anthony Albanese's behind this.
Our great mate.
A bid to get Papua New Guinea in as the 18th team. Now, before I go on a rant, I'm going to let you tell me your views on this.
It is a feel-good story to end all feel-good stories. I get the feeling it's way bigger than the game of rugby league and it's going to achieve so much overseas. That's not the NRL's problem. It's not their directive, and I think if they go along with this, and this is the abject failure I believe it'll be, the NRL need to look at themselves and think, whoops. That's where I think we'll be if this happens. I love it. On a personal level, I think it'll be great. You cannot tell me, though, that if there was a New Guinea team based in New Guinea, because do not give me this crap about they're going to play out of Townsville or Cairns. That's not a New Guinea side.
Or you base them in Cairns and they go and play in New Guinea.
They have to be a New Guinea side. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, why bother? You got to get them at training, and I get the fans are rabid, etc., etc. Jerome Luai wouldn't pick up the phone if they called him tomorrow.
Don't even worry about Jerome Luai. I don't even think Connor Tracy would pick the phone up.
Wait, how hard was it for the Dolphins to sign a marquee player? They got hammered at the last minute because the Cowboys literally said, you're not playing first grade football, which is a shame because they should have kept him and flicked Peter Hiku in hindsight. And that's the friggin' Redcliffe which is a lot closer to where these players are based from.
Yeah.
Please, ran away.
So, again, with you, I think there's an ulterior motive from the Australian government to appease the situation that might happen in Papua New Guinea, right? That's not for you or I to talk about. That's not for you or I to worry about. But what you or I are talking about is an 18th team coming into a competition now. Exactly as you said, if they're basing them out of Cairns, then call them Cairns.
Cairns, yes. Yeah. And play a game or two in New Guinea.
Play 3 games in New Guinea and then build a nice stadium in Cairns, okay? But that again, is the wrong move to make. If this is a team that is in New Guinea, regardless of whether they're based in Cairns or not, if you've got to train Monday to Wednesday in Australia and then fly out to Papua New Guinea to play over there let's face it, the conditions aren't going to be great. The fans will love you. Mm-hmm. The fans will absolutely love you. And I'm not taking anything away from Papua New Guinea as well because I love their fans And if there was a slither of opportunity for me to be able to go and watch a PM11 game, a PM13 game over there, I'd jump at it.
Yeah,
I'd absolutely jump at it for the experience. But having that team in there, in the first year, everyone's going to be like, oh, this is cute. And then in the second, oh, it's a shame they came last, but they're an expansion team, they'll be all right. In the second year, everyone will be all like, the novelty's wearing off. In the third year, why did we do this? Why did we do it? Now, I know people are saying the obvious option is Perth. I don't really think Perth is the obvious option for the TV times. As I've said, people are saying, you can play the 4 o'clock game there, it's 7 o'clock over here. So?
I love the Perth time slot just quite
yeah,
a bit.
But it's, and if you have a 7 o'clock game in Perth, it's 10 o'clock over here. You're getting rugby league literally until midnight, right? But
that's all I want. That's all I've asked for.
Yeah, though, Perth is big on AFL, big on football, big on basketball, right? It's a long way away as well. I don't think you can put a South Australian team in that. I know people say, oh, it's National Rugby League. That's just the name of it. It's literally, they could have called it anything. The N could have been anything. You just call it rugby league, I honestly think the best play would be to try and capitalise on markets that are already booming. Like another Melbourne team would do it. A South Island, New Zealand team would do it. Throw a team in Tasmania before the AFL gets there.
Yeah, that's a wide open market.
That is.
There's a long way between Newcastle and the Gold Coast.
There is, and Coffs Harbour have a great stadium,
and they had rabid fans up there too, just quietly.
So, look, I think if PNG get the 18th team, it's purely, and this is the reason that I'm putting it out there, it's not for the government. It's not for anything else other to ensure that the West Tigers don't embarrass themselves and cop 6 spoons in a row.
Oh, Tigers fans are loving this.
Yeah, absolutely.
For once, they're enjoying their football.
Because at 17th, if PNG come in, at least they can say we can't get any worse. Because they never... You just death taxes and PNG coming last every year.
I unfortunately agree. Now, I'm just going to go in real quick and say that I hate the bye, but the competition's not ready for another team. We have 5 teams that are diabolically bad. We've got, 4 teams that are really good, and the rest are okay. You cannot throw another team in there and further deplete. We saw the New South Wales Cup. We saw Newtown run right with their full squad, lose 2 or 3 and just fall way down. 2 or 3 players out of every New South Wales Cup team are going to have to come up.
Now the feel-good story of the PNG Hunters, the year they won the Queensland Cup, right, was the year that everyone realised that the Queensland Cup wasn't as good as the New South Wales Cup. They came down to Sydney and they got absolutely flogged. I would put the over-under every year of 3.5 and I would take the under.
Terry.
Talk to me then.
We've had some rugby league this past weekend. And we've got some more rugby league next weekend.
What?
Yeah, the Pacific Championship. Now, just a quick congratulations to the Kiwi fans who ended a pretty long drought. We're talking years in beating the Jillaroos. Pretty away game, to be honest. I'm going to call a spade. I'm going to treat it exactly the same as I did the other.
It was an awful game of rugby league.
But the fact is, that win meant so much.
Yeah.
So let's face international rugby league. Because it gets a bit when Australia keep winning. And I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, geez, I hope the Aussies lose because blah, blah, blah. I want them to win everything all the time. I'm very selfish like that. But looking at it objectively, this is good for the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Biddle, best on ground by a mile, and that's through my very biased eyes. I thought it was an okay game. The series itself was great.
Is there another game?
No, there's not, which means it's 1-1, which, to be fair, I don't think they saw coming. They should have made it. I know last week against Tonga women was a great thing. It should have been a 3 test match series.
Yeah, it's the same as the Origin. Like, why aren't we getting the
I don't know.
The final?
They just own goals. Every 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Now, I believe they went forward because we've seen some absolute superstars emerge from this. But play a third game. Just fly them over because the Kiwis played at home last week.
Yep.
Take the Jillaroos over there. You can't tell me they wouldn't love that trip. Bit of a hostile environment, probably something they're not used to. I think this needs to happen every year. I think there needs to be a 3 test series between Australia and New Zealand. Just book it for the next 3 years, then we'll start talking.
Bring England out as well. Bring the England girls out because their competition is a lot longer and they have made it professional a lot quicker than the NRL have made the NRLW. Yep. So bring the Poms out, make it the Tri-Nation, get to beat up the Poms. Everyone loves doing that.
Yeah, always fun.
Everyone loves beating up the Poms and then, play the final.
Absolutely.
Just do it. But congratulations, to the Kiwi Ferns, as you said, Inessa Biddle, best player on the park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in the men's game, the Aussies,
The Kangaroos
walked this game. 36 points to 18. Now, when I say they walked this game, I mean they absolutely walked this game. No Selwyn Cobbo, no Payne Haas, no Tino, no Liam Martin. Who else?
Look...
Nathan Cleary hasn't even played a test game this year.
I'll give you
They're
that.
playing Dylan Edwards on the wing.
I was a little bit shocked that the Kiwis win in full strength because the result on Saturday night didn't matter. Yep. There was a foregone that they were going to meet again next week in New Zealand, and I expect a very different game over there.
Oh yeah, because Australia are going to actually be able to play their best team and probably win by 40.
It's fearsome. Let's be honest. Now, I thought the Kiwis started terribly, kicking the ball out on the full. Mm-hmm. They were probably a little bit wound up from the pre-match stuff, which, is totally natural. I get it. They got into the game, and at half-time it was close. Mm-hmm. Then Australia kicked on as we knew they would. Then they ran away with it late. Nicho Hynes with the pass to end all passes. All the haters. You notice they weren't out on Saturday night? What happened? Loved it. Australia, very, very good. Kiwis, not bad. They are a player or two short, though, of genuinely, pushing the Kangaroos. But next week, Terry, we go across to Tasman. Again, different atmosphere, different game.
Kieran Foran playing at the 9 is always going to be a handbrake. He's not a number 9. Like, when was the last time he played number 9 in the NRL? I doubt he has.
I can't.
Early days Manly is what I'm thinking. Early days Manly is what I'm thinking, right? Look, congratulations. They're going to play. They're going to participate in the final, but that's Australia's C strength team.
Yeah.
Against New Zealand's B plus.
There's Sean Johnson away from a full strength team, and obviously Marshall King too.
Or Brendan Smith, right? Other than that, you're talking about. I don't think anyone. But he's losing. But is he better than Ronaldo? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
The game itself, though,
was good. It was fun. It was exciting. Yeah.
Oh, he absolutely spanked Joey Manu, which I didn't have on my big card just quietly. Tony Staggs, if you're playing outside Tony Staggs, just don't bother. Yeah. Just stand and wait for a knock on or a forward pass or whatever. To the point where Ronaldo was running in and smashing Staggs because he knew he wasn't going to pass. And I think it was Gus Gould said he knows Staggs isn't going to pass. Didn't even dummy. Didn't even bother with his charade. So whenever they went right, it got shut down a little bit. Now, Cam Munster was a little iffy going into the game. They took him off. I believe it was a precaution. He might have cramped up or something. And you can throw Nicho Hynes on. With the greatest respects to the Kiwi side, they don't have a Nicho Hynes. They don't have a Payne Haas. They don't have a Tino. Adam Fanua-Blake chose to play for Tonga, which I think was a huge loss for them. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to catch me crying any tears, but
they've still got James Fisher-Harris. They've still got Moses Leota. They've still got a really handy team.
Australia have that 5 or 6 up here's. The Kiwis probably have 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. It's a big gap when you're seeing that. And don't forget, Australia missing Toto and Crichton too because they chose to play for Samoa. So. Yeah, look, I love International Rugby League. I think the pre-match is more fun than the game most of the time. I don't think that probably matched this past Saturday night. I thought it was a great game. But looking at it again, I would be shocked if Australia lose.
I'll be shocked if Australia lose. But let's talk about our poor friends in New Zealand. This isn't even the worst loss that they copped over the weekend.
Tough.
Really tough. Now,
we love you Kiwis. We really do.
They lost the cricket to Australia.
Great game.
They lost the Rugby World Cup final to South Africa. Now,
South Africa didn't even score a try.
Despite what anyone will try to tell you, rugby union is a shit sport.
It's terrible. But they love it over there.
It's awful, right? But you think losing a World Cup would be the worst loss. And, of course, they lost to Australia. Is that the biggest L they copped this weekend, Dan?
It wasn't, Terry.
It's not. The biggest L that New Zealand have copped this weekend is finding out that Chad Townsend is eligible to play for them.
They don't deserve this. You can celebrate, Terry.
I can.
England.
It's
England
not very
won.
often. Oh, look, I talked a little bit of trash in the groups when in the DM Sharks DM group when I posted the ladder of Australia coming 9th in the World Cup, and that's where England's.
Yeah, they haven't won a game since.
They have not won a game since. Lost to cricket powerhouse Afghanistan.
Yeah, huge. But you got something to celebrate.
We do. Beat Tonga.
Beat the Tongans. Yeah.
Don't know what the score was. Didn't even know the game was on.
I watched the first half.
14-10, 14-12. Something like that.
It was Tonga were terrible.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That England side could come out and play New Zealand and cop 40 tomorrow. I say that without a doubt in the world. And I think New Guinea and Fiji probably push them in their current. Now, there's some players there that play for England that are fantastic. I'm a huge fan of
Jack Wellesby,
Smith.
Boys, yeah, Smith, yeah.
You know, being a Wigan fan, I maintain that he could come play in the NRL tomorrow. But, well, being the off-season, obviously not tomorrow per se, but definitely next season. But, yeah, their spine was outstanding and the Tongan team wasn't.
Yeah.
And they just got over the line for the second time. It's a bit of an eye-opener. I think Tonga and Samoa have just taken a little step back because I would have expected that Tongan side. They might win the third game, but it doesn't really matter. I was expecting you to side, I put it that way. Maybe it's just the naive fan in me hoping, but bit of a shame. But good on England.
And congratulations to Fiji winning 43 points to 16, not just winning the match though, but absolutely hammering Jack de Belin, who shouldn't be playing Test football.
No, completely fair. Now, we went in on Sunday thinking New Guinea by how many? Because the way they dismantled the Cook Islands and Fiji relied on the last couple of minutes try to beat said Cook Islands. Yeah, obviously, but rugby league don't work that way. Fiji said, not today, my friends. They were incredible.
Good. Look, Fiji have got some really, really good players. I don't know if they're at full strength, but you know they do have some really, really good players.
Some big wingers.
But also as well, the Papua New Guinea team have got a lot of players that play in the Super League. Like Lachlan Lam's come out.
Yep.
There's some others in there as well. Alex Johnson. Obviously. So yeah, look, that's going to be a cracking game next weekend. Two finals, Australia, New Zealand, and again Fiji.
Yep,
will play.
they go again, and I dare say it'll be a little bit different. The atmosphere was incredible. A lot of Fiji fans. Evidently, Mike Sevo was the most popular bloke, not wearing a PNG jersey, which is really, really good to see. So there's a couple of games next week. I don't think
that game's in Port Moresby.
Yep, true.
No, we'll be here next week.
Well, yeah, well, good.
We'll figure it out.
Please, I need to be here.
Yeah, we need to be here. But look, congratulations to every player, every team. You know, rugby league is just absolutely fantastic.
International Rugby League, Terry, yay or nay?
I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm also not a big fan of the off-season as well.
I reckon just play the 9s for the next 3 weeks, then the 7s, and the 12, whatever. Just rugby league all season.
Yeah.
Off season.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our good friends at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dan and I are still here. We're still talking. We're still bringing you rugby league.
Couple more weeks in us yet, I think.
The news. I mean, as long as there's news, we'll be here.
We'll be here. So if you don't want to see us, hope there's no news.
And as long as there are international games to be covered, we will cover them. As you say, congratulations, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, the Cook Islands, and every team and every player that has participated.
Except England.
Yeah, except England, thank you, who have put their hands up to continue to bring us rugby league and continue to bring us love and joy. And Dan,
off season.
whatever.